Last year, Oklahoma shocked the nation with their blowout win over Alabama that ultimately kept the Crimson Tide out of the college football playoff. Now the million-dollar question is whether or not the Sooners can do that again, or if Alabama will get their revenge and in the process end the Sooners' college football playoff hopes. So let's break it down right now. Oklahoma, Alabama, Saturday afternoon. Who's going to win? What do you need to know? Let's do it here at the Gridiron Expert. Welcome back, guys. We're so glad you could join us. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below. That includes our website, thegridironexpert.com, home to our expert picks and tons of exclusive content that you do not want to miss, not just for the remainder of this season, but well into the offseason, well into next year. You do not want to miss out on it. The link in the description for you to become a member of our GE Nation. So, to recap last year, right? It was a shocker. Oklahoma in Norman wins 24-3 over Alabama. They rushed for 257 yards on that Alabama defense, averaged 5.1 yards per carry, and their defense held Alabama to 234 yards. Oklahoma rushed for more yards than Alabama had total yards, and their defense also forced 3 turnovers, all of them interceptions off of Jalen Milroe. Obviously, I don't expect that to happen again, right? It would be shocking if Oklahoma could turn in that type of performance now against this Alabama team in Tuscaloosa. But let's dive into it a little bit deeper. We'll start on the offensive side, and we'll start with the visitors and the Sooners. They're not as good as I thought they'd be, and I hate that. I came into the season with very high expectations of this Oklahoma offense. I love the new addition of their coordinator. I love John Mateer. I love that their receivers were healthy. This was supposed to be an offense that was going to be at least a top 25 unit. And instead, statistically, they're 76th in the nation, averaging just 373 yards per game, and they're only averaging 137 rushing yards per game. Their leading rusher, Torrey Blaylock, only has 400 yards and 4 touchdowns on the year. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. And I know what a lot of people are going to say. It's because of John Mateer's injury. And obviously you're right. This Oklahoma offense was thriving early in the year prior to his thumb injury, right? And since then, since they, I think, rushed him back in that game against Texas, Mateer and the offense has not been the same. Mateer on the year, over 1,900 yards, 8 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. But since that thumb injury, since he came back against Texas, Mateer has failed to throw for more than 223 yards. He has 2 passing touchdowns and 4 interceptions. It's not good numbers. They got killed by Texas, beat South Carolina. I think to some, surprisingly lost to Ole Miss at home. And then that Tennessee win in Knoxville was gutsy. It was impressive. It saved their season, saved their playoff hopes at least. But that really wasn't because of John Mateer and the offense. It was more of a testament to their defense, which we'll get to here in a second. Mateer's rushed for over 300 yards on the year, has 6 rushing touchdowns. Those numbers actually low compared to what I thought they'd be. Overall, this offense has not gelled the way I think it was supposed to. And maybe the thumb injury derailed them, but they should have found a way to navigate that. They still should find a way. Good teams find a way to be better than that. Again, the Sooners in this position because of their defense, because the offense is finding a way to get points on the board, but they're going to need a lot more against this Alabama team. They're going to have to find a way. If John Mateer is still not great, if he's still not being able to air the ball deep down the field, you got to find a way to get your speedy receivers, guys like Isaiah Satania, who has nearly 700 yards, find a way to get them into space and hope they can make some plays against the Crimson Tide. Alabama, yeah, quite the opposite, right? They've actually got some good quarterback play right now. 291 passing yards per game. Ty Simpson thrown for over 2,400 yards, 21 touchdowns, only 1 interception on the year for Simpson. Just a ridiculous stat for the Alabama quarterback. I mean, if there were any doubters of him coming into the season, any doubters of him after that Florida State loss, they should all be gone now because he has been playing like one of the best quarterbacks in the entire country. Granted, it helps when you have one of the best wide receiver duos in the country, Jeremy Bernard and Ryan Williams. Bernard over 600 yards and 6 touchdowns. Williams over 500 yards and 4 touchdowns. Like Oklahoma, though, it's interesting. Alabama can't run the ball. And I know they battled some injuries in the running back core throughout the year, but they're 119th in the nation, only averaging 112 rushing yards per game. They're a pretty one-dimensional offense. But that hasn't stopped them. That hasn't, hurt them because of how good Ty Simpson has been, how good their offensive line has been in protecting him, only giving up 16 sacks on the year. So coming into this game, I think it's clear Alabama's got the offensive edge. Even though Oklahoma maybe has a more mobile quarterback, and certainly has the talent. They have not shown it in the last few weeks like Alabama has had, as the Crimson Tide have been on an absolute tear since their season opening loss down in Tallahassee. Defensively, both these teams pride themselves on defense, and they should. Two of the better defenses in the entire nation. Oklahoma, 7th in the entire nation, only allowing 264 total yards per game. They're 4th in the nation in stopping the run, giving up just 82 rushing yards per game. To me, that doesn't matter. That's great. That ensures that Alabama probably isn't going to have a big day on the ground, but Alabama hasn't really had many big days on the ground at all this year. Again, one of the worst rushing offenses in the nation. So it's great that Oklahoma front 7 can do that. It's great they can bottle them up. Doesn't allow Alabama to do much. It's going to be about the secondary, though. Can Oklahoma's passing defense stop Ty Simpson? Do they have the cornerbacks to compare and match up well with Jeremy Bernard and Ryan Williams? Can they stop that? Because if they can't, it doesn't matter. Alabama could rush for negative 30 yards. It doesn't matter. It's all about the secondary. Now look at Oklahoma here. They're only giving up 181.8 passing yards per game. It's 22nd in the nation. It's a good number, right? But they can clearly be exploited against good quarterbacks. They allowed 393 passing yards to Tennessee. Yes, Oklahoma won that game, but still nearly 400 passing yards to the Volunteers, and we'll touch on that in a second. They allowed 315 passing yards to Ole Miss and Trinidad Chambliss, a loss for the Sooners in Norman. You go through the rest of the year, those are the two best quarterbacks they played. Arch Manning didn't have to do much because John Mateer kept turning the ball over. They played Bryce Underwood back in week two with a young quarterback. It's only the second start of his career. Lenore Sellers in South Carolina have been really bad this year. They haven't really played many quality quarterbacks. The two best ones they've arguably played, Chambliss and Joey Aguilar, have thrown for over 300 yards on them. The only way that Oklahoma defensively, can find a way to win this game and stop Alabama is by forcing turnovers, following the same recipe that they had last year, which was to come in, control the clock, control the line of scrimmage, and to force a lot of mistakes off of Alabama. That's how you do it. And in a way, that's what they did in Knoxville just a few weeks ago. The blackout game in Tennessee, I don't think many people were picking the Sooners to win that game. They won that game because they forced, 3 turnovers? They forced 6-point win, 3 turnovers. One of them was a fumble recovery for a touchdown, return for a touchdown, which was very impressive. And then they had 2 interceptions. But you look a little bit deeper, Oklahoma on the year only has 5 interceptions. So 40% of their interceptions came in one game against Tennessee. And with the fumble recovery for a touchdown, the Sooners only won by 6. They turned 3 turnovers into 13 points in a 6-point win, which is fantastic. The defense deserves a lot of praise for that. They're going to need a similar defensive performance and maybe then some to win this game now in Tuscaloosa. Pressure on Ty Simpson. They have 33 sacks on the year. Pressure on Ty Simpson, forcing turnovers. Very similar recipe to Knoxville. Very similar recipe to what they did last year in Norman. Alabama, 18th in the nation in total defense, giving up just 303 yards per game. They are 164.1 passing yards per game. That's good for 10th in the nation. So let's break down this number a little bit. They have one of the best secondaries in the country. And they have played some good quarterbacks too. Joey Aguilar had himself a decent day against Alabama in Tuscaloosa, but one of the biggest difference makers in that game was, of course, that 99-yard pick 6 right at the end of the first half. We talked about it. Oklahoma can't run the ball. Alabama can't run the ball. Neither of them have proven they can run the ball very well. Oklahoma can't do it. So if Alabama ensures that they contain John Mateer, they don't allow this to be a game where he actually is able to utilize his legs, this Oklahoma offense is one-dimensional on the road, going up against a top 10 secondary. Alabama's secondary has allowed over 250 passing yards one time this year. And the most at home, point-wise, was 20 points allowed against Tennessee. So it's going to be really, really tough for Oklahoma to come in here and win this game. Alabama's on a different level right now. And Oklahoma's been a great team. They deserve the praise. They deserve to be ranked where they are. They deserve to have the record that they have. But I look at this game, I cannot pick Oklahoma to win this game. I don't know how you can pick Oklahoma to win this game. Maybe they come out there and shock the nation again for the second year in a row. But I don't have faith in John Mateer right now. Since he's returned from his injury, he has not played well at all. The running game has done nothing to help him out. If Alabama, again, contains him and makes him stand in the pocket and deliver, I don't think he can do it. Alabama, again, absolute tear since that season opening loss. They've been a completely different team at home than they have been on the road. This is Norman, maybe, because Alabama looks way worse on the road than they do at home. But at home, with revenge on their mind, Bama is 2-0 in revenge games this year, winning against Vanderbilt by 16, Tennessee by 17. They're not just beating teams at home, they're beating them convincingly by double digits. I got to go all over Alabama here. They've got the offensive edge. They've got the better quarterback in Ty Simpson. They've got home field advantage. I think they've got the defensive edge because Oklahoma will not run the ball well. Alabama's secondary, one of the best in the nation. John Mateer not playing good ball. It all adds up to me. A big Alabama victory. Roll Tide for a big win for Alabama. They remain a one-loss team. They remain a top 5 team. And in the process, they eliminate Oklahoma from college football playoff contention, just like the Sooners did to them last year. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below. That includes our website, thegridironexpert.com, home to tons of exclusive content that you do not want to miss. We want you to take advantage of it, become a member of our GE Nation. And once again, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.